Today's coffee break. When are points better than cash and vice versa? So, the Smartly credit card, which lets you earn up to 4% cash back everywhere, has us questioning the value of earning points when we could be earning big cash back instead.
That's right. We could be earning cash back bigly, and
Bigly.
so there's an opportunity there, and it's relatively easy for most people to be earning quite a bit of cash back. The top rate requires a good bit of deposit, but I think for a lot of people, this is a pretty accessible way and an important comparison point, I think, to make between the different options out there.
Yeah. So, for those who can get the 4% cash back, there's a big opportunity cost now to using other credit cards for rewards. For example, when you're earning 2 points per dollar everywhere, we used to think that was fantastic. It's still pretty darn good. But all of a sudden, if you're choosing to earn 2 points per dollar everywhere instead of 4% cash back, that's like you're paying 2 cents for every point you're getting. And that might be a good deal depending on your situation, but usually we don't think of 2 cents per point as like a great place at which you want to buy your points.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty expensive rate at which to be buying points at that rate. And that's, if you're comparing against a 2x everywhere. And when we say buying points, I mean, I guess you're not literally buying the points, right?
Right.
But essentially you're giving up the opportunity. So if you could get 4 pennies and instead you're picking 2 points, then you're
Right.
giving up the opportunity for 2 pennies for every point that you pick up. So, and that's based on a 2x card. If you were doing spending on a 1x card, I mean, my goodness, I could see player one's getting unhappy with player two's doing 1x spending because it's like paying 4 cents for every point. And,
Yeah.
while premium cabin redemptions can be really nice and all, 4 cents per point is like that's way more than I would ever pay for a point if I were
Oh,
buying it, right?
100%. And there's a lot of people out there, spending on their Delta cards and getting mostly 1x and Delta
Right.
miles. It's really rare these days to get outsized value. You're usually only getting around 1 cent per point value from your miles, and yet people do it because they like Delta or whatever. But the opportunity cost is big and it's real in those kind of situations.
Yeah, and even category bonuses that look pretty good, like a 3x category bonus, is still not really cheap because, again, compared to the 4% that you could potentially be earning with the Smartly card, it's like you're paying 1.33 cents per point. That's a pretty big cost.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's significant enough to at least think about it. I think for a lot of us, like it may be worth it, but you should at least be going in with that mindset. Now, even if you like your points, even if you like getting outsized value with points, getting 4% cash back might still be the best way to do that because points go on sale often. And so, you look at like Hilton and IHG that often have sell their points on sale for half a cent each. If you use the cash back from your 4% cash back card to buy those points when they're on sale, it's like you're earning 8 points per dollar for all your spend.
Right, right. I mean, and that would be really good, right? I mean, or it would feel really good, particularly if you really like Hilton points, if you like them for SLH redemptions and stuff like that. I mean, that's pretty nice. And that's not the only one, of course. If you prefer airline miles, Aeroplan and Life miles sell their miles at least occasionally for 1.3 cents per point. And so if you're earning this big pile of cash back at 4% back, it's essentially like earning 3 miles per dollar if you use that cash back to buy miles when they're on sale for 1.3 cents per mile, which again, 3x everywhere. Like if there were a 3x everywhere card, everybody'd be screaming about that, right?
That's right. That's right. And yet here you go. We sort of have it. It's just that you have to redeem your cash back when there's a sale on the miles in order to get that rate.
Right, right. But like if Aeroplan or Avianca Life Miles came out with a credit card that offered 3 miles per dollar flat rate on all spent, like wouldn't everybody be like, "Oh my goodness, you got to get this card right now,"
It,
right?
it would be big. It'd be a big
Yeah,
deal. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So is cash the final answer? Should everybody be just earn cash and forget about
Yeah,
the points and miles? Yeah. All
I
right.
think so.
All right, let's go home.
Let's pack it in, Greg. It's done. It's done. Frequent miler done. It's just
Can
4% on the Smartly card now from
can
now
I at
on.
least get another cup of coffee before we go home?
One more cup. One more cup. We're closing up shop here because
Mm.
that's all there is to it. I mean, it makes a pretty compelling case. I can't lie. It's if you can get that. First of all, I don't think it's going to last forever. So let's be clear. I don't think the 4%, I think that seems unsustainable in the long term. I think it'll probably be around for at least a year. Maybe it'll be around longer than that. I'd love to be wrong. Probably not going to last forever, though. If you did have the option for 4% forever, that would be pretty good, but not necessarily the be all and end all, right? Why not?
Yeah, I mean, so this idea of like buying points when they're on sale, it's like a nice, almost theoretical idea, but the reality is that opportunities come up to use points to get outsized value when there's no sale available. I mean, so like often you have to jump on something, maybe you all of a sudden see that there's a whole lot of award space on Air France or KLM to fly to Europe for 50,000 miles each way in business class. And you could do your whole family that way if you wanted to. That really happens. But oh, wait, you didn't buy the, Air France KLM Flying Blue points when they're on sale. I don't even know that they go on sale that often. But the point is, like, you're going to see that kind of stuff. And then you're going to be missing out if you don't have any transferable points, at least where you could transfer to a program like that. Then there's other things like Hyatt where the points rarely go on sale, or if they do, they're still pretty expensive, and you can so often get outsized value. And so the strategy is not really going to help you much in that kind of situation.
Yeah, I mean, you want to have some buckets of points available for those things. The good things come up, or you want to book a positioning flight. Booking an award ticket has advantages because, of course, you can cancel without any penalty, and a lot of, or sometimes a cancellation fee. It depends on the airline, but a bunch of the U.S. based programs, at least, don't have cancellation fees on their awards, so you can cancel right up until relatively close to departure with a lot of US based programs. So there are advantages behind having those miles because it gives you flexibility over cash. Although cash, I think overall most people would agree is a more flexible instrument than miles and points, but miles and points unlock some opportunities that cash either can't, or you would need a lot more cash in order to unlock. So yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you. There are some of those situations that you're going to want points for.
I feel like I've frequently run into situations where I've been like really happy. I've either had the miles that were needed for a spontaneous opportunity, or I had transferable points that could give me those miles quickly, right? Boy, I still love the fact that when United had this weird sale where you could fly for 60,000 points pretty much anywhere in the world in business class, that my wife and I hopped on that and got flights to New Zealand during peak season, which winter to us and summer to them. And that kind of thing, I guess if you're earning enough cash, you could pay the cash rate, but that's gonna wipe out all the advantage of earning 4% over 1 or 2x.
So okay, so then what would you do? I mean, does that mean you would spend at 2x instead of earning 4% back? Like, how are you going to earn those transferable miles and points? You
Yeah,
already
how about
agreed with me that that's expensive, right? To,
right,
to
right.
spend at
How,
2x.
how about this as an ideal strategy? What if we say, yeah, just when you're doing regular spend, just spend everything on that 4% card. I mean, if you have a card that has like a 5x category bonus, fine, do that. But you should feel fine just using that 4% everywhere because it's pretty close to the top you're going to get. But then still earn lots of points and miles through new card welcome bonuses, through targeted card bonuses that a lot of issuers offer regularly, through retention bonuses when you call and say, hey, I'm thinking of canceling, and they offer you a big reward for staying, referral bonuses when you refer friends or family members. There's lots of ways of earning points and miles, and often transferable points, which are so much better than specific points because then you could get the types of points that are needed for many situations. There's so many ways to do that, and so why not like sort of divide and conquer in that way? And obviously, like someone might say, but wait, when I'm working on these welcome bonuses and some of these targeted bonuses, they require spend. Yeah, great. Use those credit cards for that spend because the rate of return usually on like a welcome bonus is over 10 points per dollar usually.
Right.
And then for cash back, you do the spend with your 4% card, and maybe you sign up for some bank bonuses as well. So you have your cash back store that you earmark that for travel type things.
Yeah, like Greg said, there are so many ways to earn transferable points other than day-to-day spending. And I would venture to guess that for a lot of people listening that are into this, you probably earn, well, I don't know about you in the general sense. For a lot of people listening, they earn the majority of their miles and points, not from like everyday purchases, but rather from the welcome bonuses. Yes, they're making everyday purchases to meet the spend for the welcome bonuses, but probably they're not spending enough at 3x restaurants to make a remarkable difference in their mile balance over the course of the year. What really makes a big difference is those big welcome bonuses and referral bonuses and
Right.
shopping portals. I mean, don't forget those too. You got like Rakuten, where you could be earning Amex membership rewards points, clicking through to buy something from a popular retailer for a good return and using your 4% cashback card to buy it, but
Right.
earning a bunch of membership rewards points while you're doing it. So I totally agree with Greg. I think the 4% card would be like your everyday driver that you use on different stuff. And what I like about this card is, so the Altitude Reserve, we've talked about a bunch over the last couple of years, because that earns 3x mobile wallet. And, the short story, skipping ahead a few steps, is that it's essentially possible to look at that as sort of 4.5% back if you use the rewards the right way, without getting into all the detail there. But
Yep.
that's on mobile wallet purchases. So that's great for in-person spend, when you're going somewhere and you're spending money. But if you're buying stuff online, if you're, buying stuff at Costco.com, or you're paying bills that are online, then you're not getting that increased rate unless you're paying with Apple Pay online. I've heard from Apple users that you can get that with Apple Pay online, but you can't with Google Pay. I haven't gotten the 3x when I'm on a web browser ever. So anyway, a lot of those types of purchases would be better off on this Smartly card if you had access to
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
so yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And also like because you have to jump through hoops to get the 4.5% with the
Yeah.
altitude reserve, like it's just easier to get the cash back, withdraw it to the bank account as soon as you earn it. So it starts earning interest. Your altitude reserve points aren't going to be earning interest, until you sort of redeem them and get
Yeah.
the equivalent of cash back from them. But yeah, so it's a good way to go. Now, I don't think it's the be all end all for everybody. Like, I do think that's a good general strategy, especially for those who can get the 4% card and get 4% from it. I guess I should have said. I think there are people who, legitimately highly value things that you can get from big spend on certain cards. So take the Hyatt card, for example. I wrote a post and had a spreadsheet about this, how like uh, as you earn with the Hyatt credit card, your spending can earn you elite nights, which in turn can earn you Hyatt milestone rewards. And depending on how much you value those milestone rewards and the elite status you get from Hyatt, you can sort of you can estimate the value you're getting per dollar of spend from the Hyatt credit card, and with the spreadsheet I created, like you can see that depending on how highly you value these things, at some spend levels, it's like you're getting over 4 points per dollar on all your spend, as long as you could sort of stop at certain thresholds. And so, I think that's a totally legitimate another way to go is that type of thing if you value those kind of big spend bonuses that various credit cards offer.
Yeah, that's a good point. But you do have to think about how much they cost you, right? Because, then essentially every $5,000 spend that earns you the two elite nights, getting 5,000 points. It's a 1x. So it's kind of like paying 4 cents per point plus for the elite night. You got to figure out, is that worth it to you or not? And it may very well be, but you do have to kind of do the math. And that's, these cashback offers like the Smartly card, make you have to do the math, or you may come out behind. And so you have to consider your options. But yeah, I like this. I think that this is a really cool opportunity. Now, even if you can't meet the 100K spending requirement, I still think you got to sit there and consider, well, you only need
Right.
$5,000 in the bank to get 2.5% out of that card. And so still, it's like you're paying 1.25 cents per point or something like that, which is around an amount that we said I probably wouldn't pay that much. So it's still kind of expensive when you compare a 2x card against 2.5% back. There certainly is an argument to be made for spending on the 2x card, but I could see a lot of people doing better with the
Yeah.
2.5% back still. And that, again, only requires $5,000 in deposits for 2.5% back on that card, which I think, is a sweet spot for a lot of people that can't meet the higher deposit requirements. Though keep in mind, if you have an IRA or you have retirement savings, that kind of thing, you could potentially meet that 100K if you've got that by moving that stuff over to US Bank. So it might be easier than it
Right.
seems to hit that.
Yeah, I mean, just if you have stock investments that you can just like move over, and it's not gonna, if you hit the 100K, it's not gonna cost you more because they waive the annual fee on their self-directed investment accounts with
Yep.
100K savings.
Right. There you go. So there you have it. We think that this is definitely an interesting thing to consider. You got to run the numbers on your own to figure out what your best option is.
Yeah, yeah, good point. Sorry to give you that homework, everyone.